flash and go ever. It features a gold that never needs replacing, which means you'll buy it once, then enjoy it for a lifetime. Act now, and we'll also include, for free, a deluxe jet setter package that features a plush travel bag and everything you need, so you can use your silken flash and go anywhere, anytime. And there's absolutely no risk. You can try the new silken flash and go Luxe for a full 60 days with our triple guarantee. If you are not completely satisfied within 60 days, just send it back. We will refund the purchase price, we will refund the shipping, and we'll even pay the return postage. That's how confident we are that you will love your new silken flash and go Luxe. To make sure you feel confident purchasing your silken flash and go Luxe, it comes with a complete 60-day money-back guarantee. You'll be well on your way to being completely hair-free and loving it by then.
Lines are open and consultants are waiting for your call. The Silken Flash and Go Luxe with 100% risk-free 60-day trial plus triple guarantee will only be available for a limited time. So order yours now. Have your credit card ready and call the toll-free number on your screen. For faster service, order online at myflashandgo.com. This 100% risk-free 60-day trial offer on the exclusive Flash and Go Luxe, complete with free gifts, is not available in retail stores anywhere. You must order direct from Silken now. Call 1-800-978-4126. Order your Flash and Go now.
My biggest worry as a brother is for a relapse. I had Western Christian friends over last night, and we decided to play dinner within months. I don't like this personally. Investigators held out hope that Kristen Grindley could tell them why she was found bloody and unconscious in the middle of the road. When she woke up from her coma, her memory of that night was blank. Perhaps her boyfriend could help explain what happened. Here again, Josh Mankiewicz.
From the time Kristen opened her eyes and uttered her first word, her progress was astounding. Here she is, just 6 weeks after she arrived at the hospital unconscious. She's smiling, moving, answering questions. What's today?
You first saw me Thursday.
Right. Things most of us take for granted. But for Kristen Grindley, each felt like a little miracle. By now, Kristen was recuperating at St. Luke's, an inpatient rehabilitation facility. Videos posted on Facebook chronicled her progress. Kristen exercising, playing games to strengthen eye-hand coordination. Simple tasks, but with Kristen's injuries, they required grueling effort.
Been great. January just seemed like a cloud lifted off of her, and all of a sudden she was starting to ask the question, why am I here?
Now, when Kristen searched for the life she had lived, she had only shards of memories, seen through a haze. She asked her family for reminders, seeking out treasured pieces of the past. They brought her dog Coda to St. Luke's for an enthusiastic reunion. There was one part of the past Kristen seemed much less excited about. Her old boyfriend, Richard Asma. The love Kristen had felt for him so strongly now seemed to have vanished along with her memory.
She said, yeah, I'm going to break up with that guy. I'm going to break up with him. She kept saying, I need to break up with that dude. Finally, I said, honey, who's are you talking about? And she said, Richard. I hate him. I need to break up with him. That was the very first time that she even mentioned his name.
But Richard Asma's name had been at the center of the investigation by Whitman County Sheriff Brett Myers ever since the night of November 11th. Just a few hours after Kristen was found, the sheriff was in the doorway of the couple's home, sizing up her live-in boyfriend.
First impressions of Richard Asma. First impressions are big, and my first impressions were that he knew exactly what happened. He didn't say that he knew what happened. No, he didn't.
In fact, Richard told the sheriff he'd been out searching for Kristen. He said he had no clue where she was, and so the sheriff broke the news that Kristen had been airlifted to a hospital in critical condition.
He was overly concerned
Richard back to the station for questioning. He says he smelled alcohol on Richard's breath. Richard acknowledged right off that he and Kristen had been arguing that day.
They had kind of this relationship.
Storming?
And yeah, we stormed at times.
That evening, Richard said they'd gone out separately. When he came back home, he said, Kristen started to fight again. So at 1:30 a.m., he got in his truck and left the house alone.
He indicated he had reached over and locked the car and looked over his shoulder, and as he pulled away, he said she was in that doorway.
Richard said he went out four-wheeler, driving fast on rural roads to blow off some steam. Where did he say he was?
He said he had been out on Albion Road.
Albion Road, where Kristen was found.
Right.
Dashboard video from police cars in the area backed up that part of the story. Here's Richard's truck driving right past the spot where Kristen was found. Minutes after, the ambulance had taken her away. And Richard told the sheriff something odd happened when he returned home after 2 a.m. Richard said he'd heard someone throwing around the recycling bins in his front yard. And he went downstairs, he says, to tell Kristen. He said it was only then that he realized she wasn't home. He woke her friend Caitlin, who was staying over that night, and the two of them went searching in vain for Kristen. Had vandals really been in the yard that night? The sheriff sent deputies back to Richard's house to check it out.
Recycling bins did not appear to have been moved. Still covered with leaves, did not appear to have been moved.
Why tell a story that can be so easily disproven?
He's just trying to explain why it couldn't be him and why he, in the middle of the night, decided to start looking for Kristen.
It was the first solid clue backing up the sheriff's hunch that Richard Pasma knew more than he was telling. An even bigger clue came from Kristen's friend Caitlin. She told sheriff's deputies that while she and Richard searched for Kristen that night, he told her over and over he was scared Kristen could have been in the bed of his truck. It was a very different story than the one he was telling the cops.
An hour before we interviewed him, he's telling Caitlin that he's afraid she fell out of the back of the vehicle.
And then when you interview him, he's saying there's no way she could have been in the bed.
Doesn't even bring it up. Absolutely never even mentions that there's a possibility that she could have fallen out with this whirlwind. When we offered that up to him as a plausible explanation, he refuted it and said there's no way.
After about 40 minutes of questioning, Richard asked to speak to a lawyer. The interview was over. The criminal investigation was just beginning. That same night, the sheriff ran a routine check on Kristen Brindley's name on a police database. Anything interesting about Kristen's previous contacts with law enforcement?
There was one contact that she had had with campus police. She had been a victim in a domestic violence situation.
University police made an arrest in that case. Kristen's boyfriend, Richard Pasma. According to the April 2009 report, an officer in a university parking lot had heard a couple screaming at each other on a stairway. I saw Pasma strike Brindley with a fully extended right arm and open hand across her face, the officer wrote. Brindley recoiled in shock. I heard the sound of his hand hitting her face from approximately 20 feet. Kristen's mom hadn't known a thing about that incident, but looking back, she says it confirmed suspicions she had all along. Suspicions she had asked Kristen about in the months before she was injured.
I came right and asked her numerous times, does he hit you?
And she would say,
No. No. I just had a feeling.
For Sheriff Myers, the report that Richard had been arrested for slapping Kristen was a jarring discovery, but it didn't prove a thing.
Just because someone's been arrested for domestic violence prior doesn't necessarily mean that they're guilty of a heinous crime.
Had Richard committed a heinous crime on the night of November 11th? Or was there some other explanation for how Kristen ended up unconscious on Albion Road? And without her memories that carried the case, would the sheriff be able to piece together the answers and find justice for Kristen?
Coming up, a dramatically different theory about what happened that night.
Fortunately, the person that caused Kristen Brindley's injuries
process all the time for different roles. I've had every kind of hair you can imagine. Short hair, long hair, straight hair, curly hair. I've even been blonde. And constant styling, shampooing, and ironing used to leave my hair dry and frizzy. But with Lynn, I never have to worry. My hair is always soft and shiny, and I have tons of volume. And that's why I'm a Wen girl. Wen Cleansing Conditioner by Chastain. An entirely new concept in cleansing your hair that takes the place of shampoo, conditioner, detangler, and leave-in conditioner all in one. Many lab-grown shampoos use harsh sulfates and detergents that can strip your hair of natural oils. But Wen is different. Wen is designed to gently cleanse and moisturize your hair and scalp with no harsh stripping agents, no sulfates, and no fillers. So if your hair is fine, frizzy, dull, limp, or out of control, now it can all change with just one use of Wen.
Just use Wen one time, and I guarantee you'll see an amazing difference in your hair.
My hair became re-moisturized, bouncy. Call or go online right now, and you can get the Wen Healthy Hair Care System for just $29.95, including the Wen Anti-Frizz Styling Cream to protect your hair from heated styling tools. Order right now, and as a thank you, we'll send you 2 free gifts. The Wen Travel Kit. Take it with you wherever you go, and you'll always have sexy, beautiful hair. A $25 value, yours free. And Chaz's 613 Ultra Nourishing Treatment. Plus, you'll even get free shipping. You'll change your hair after one use, or you'll get your money back. Call 1-800-640-2530 or go to getwen.com right now to get the Wen Healthy Hair Care System and your free gifts. A $150 value for just $29.95 and free shipping. So ditch your old shampoo and get the hair you've always wanted with Wen.
Are digestive issues holding you back? Take control with the 2-week tummy take back from the Digestive Advantage, the daily probiotic supplement that guarantees improvement in abdominal discomfort and bloating in just 2 weeks or your money back. Start your tummy take back today.
There's a fast way to great medicine. Introducing Unisom Liquid. When you can't wind down, Unisom Liquid helps you fall asleep quickly. It's not heartwarming, and you wake refreshed. New Unisom Liquid. A stressful day deserves a restful night.
Are digestive issues holding you back? Take control with the 2-week tummy take back from the Digestive Advantage, the daily probiotic supplement that guarantees improvement in abdominal discomfort and bloating in just 2 weeks or your money back. Start your tummy take back today.
She's got non-stop entertainment.
The power of non-drowsy Allegro works eliminate 8 times high power levels. Relief starts in 1 hour and stays strong for 24. Allegro. Stop suffering. Start living.
I really love my husband. I have to leave him. I've been so focused on career now. She has a different definition of friendship than we do. This is not a argument month. Why don't you tell us about getting a double mastectomy? Returning to our story, investigators take a closer look at Kristen Brindley's boyfriend. They suspect he may have something to do with what happened that dark night on Albion Road. Once again, Josh Mankiewicz.
2.5 months after Kristen Brindley was found clinging to life on Albion Road, she finally moved out of the medical facility back to her parents' house in Woodinville, Washington. Having her home was, of course, a blessing, but Kristen's parents wouldn't rest easy until someone was held accountable for her injuries. The Brindley family, everything pointed to Richard Masma, their old suspicions about his behavior during the romance. The domestic violence arrest back in April 2009, and his evasive answers in that interview